Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show Against All Odds, the platform where we celebrate leaders who have turned challenges into opportunities and odds into legacy. Today, we are honored to host a true trailblazer in healthcare and especially in diagnostic, Dr. Harsh Mahajan, founder and chief radiologist at Mahajan Imaging. Awarded the Padma Shri, he is not just a healthcare leader, he is a symbol of perseverance and excellence. His odds has seen ups and downs, moments of doubts, momentum of breakthroughs, yet every step has been powered by resilience, vision, and unshakable commitment to bridging world-class radiology to our country. Hello, sir, and welcome to Against All Odds. And it's a pleasure to host you and get all the odds which you have tackled and bring the best radiology in our country, India.
Thank you very much. You said so many good things about me. I wish my mother was alive and she could hear what you said. Uh, at the outset, thank you for having me here. Against all odds, I think most of us who come from middle class background
Yes.
have struggled in
Yes.
life to reach wherever we have, and I think this is a very apt name that you've given this podcast.
Thank you so much, sir.
And it's a pleasure being.
So let's dive into and now let's get all the odds from Dr. Mahajan. So, sir, every odds has a beginning. So, what spark led you to start an empire? I will call it an empire only, Mahajan Imaging, to bring all the odds like at the time when the advanced radiology was very new and in fancy in India. What made you to bring the latest technologies in the radiology in India?
Well, I can tell you there was no vision, there was no planning. It was that, after doing a fellowship in MRI at the MD Anderson Cancer Hospital in Houston, Texas, USA, in 1988, I came back because India's first MRI had got installed here. Those were the early days of MRI. And it was installed in a DRDO lab of the Ministry of Defense in Delhi, in Timarpur, called the Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences
Okay.
in Mars. And I actually came back after my fellowship to take a job there and work there. And there was a position of a scientist C that was
Wow.
vacant. And I said I fit the requirements, and that's where I wanted to work. But as things happen in the government, it took nearly 2 years for a vacant position to be advertised,
Oh,
for the interview to be held. A date would be given, then it would get postponed.
the whole
So on
procedure.
and so forth. And during that time, I started thinking, I'm the only trained MRI person at the मैं तो सब भूल जाऊँ. So this, thought that we should do something on our own.
Yes.
And I spoke to my parents at home, and at home they said, ये तो पागल हो गया, ये तो करोड़ों की बातें करने लग गया है. Remember, crore at that time वो आज का ज़माना नहीं था. crore मुंह से शब्द नहीं निकलता था. लखपतियों का ज़माना था. 1 लाख रुपए की लॉटरी निकलती. So my parents really said, तुम क्या सोच रहे हो? But I said, नहीं, हमें करना चाहिए.
Yes.
And my father actually was principal of a public school, Muskarj Model School in Punjabi Bagh, and a lot of businessmen's children studied there. So he spoke to some of them and said, ऐसे मेरा बेटा कुछ नया पढ़ के आया है,
Yes.
so he wants to set up, would you be interested? And one of the parents got interested.
Very nice.
And that's how, our journey started. If I had got that job in INMAS
Yes.
at that time, then probably, I would have retired by now
Yes.
from INMAS and would be sitting somewhere.
Hmm.
So it was more a matter of circumstances.
Exactly.
And frankly, ultimately, I did get to work in INMAS for 2 years. And this was because when we had got our loan, we had planned everything for the MRI.
Hmm.
When we went to get the LC established, this was March of 1990.
1990.
And that's when, actually India was in a very poor economic
Exactly.
condition.
That time.
Gold had gone out of the country. And there was no foreign exchange available to establish the letter of credit. And so we waited nearly 2 years for that LC to be established. And during that time, that interview had happened in INMAS. I'd been selected. And for 2 years, I worked in INMAS as a scientist while waiting for enough foreign exchange coming to the country that we could start the MRI.
Yeah.
And it was in early 1992 that the MRI started. I resigned my job. And that's the story. So there was no planning, there was no vision. It was just that I didn't get a job that set off this whole thing.
Sir, I have read somewhere that people call you the human of radiology. So how do you feel when people call you from this kind of terminologies?
I can tell you, it feels nice. But then these are all people who are friends of mine, well-wishers, maybe some patients that I've, dealt with over the years. Frankly, I tried doing the best possible that I can. At Mahajan Imaging and Labs, we do have a very patient-centric approach. There's empathy in our people, right from the security guard to the reception, to the technologists, the doctors. We tend to speak to our patients, try to, when you're breaking news which is not good, we try to do it in a very gentle manner. So I think overall we have a very human approach about that. I will say that that is true. But then there are so many others like me. And really, if you see, we started Mahajan Imaging and Labs with radiology, MR, CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and all the other mammography, bone density. And then added in the early 2000s, nuclear medicine, the gamma camera, and PET CT. And then in the last 6 years, we have added genomics, next-gen sequencing, and a comprehensive pathology lab where all testing is done. So I felt for the last 5-6 years that the future belongs to integrated diagnostics.
Yes.
Currently, we tend to work in silos, but this is our attempt at integrating everything, providing all testing under one roof, so that it is easy for the patient.
Yes.
She doesn't need to, go from place to place.
Exactly.
And also, we are able to correlate the things very well.
Yeah.
And ultimately try to give a considered one report to the patient. Otherwise, tests are becoming more and more complex. There's so much of data, interpreting it is becoming more difficult. And so going forward, we have this focus on integrated diagnosis.
Exactly. Like you said, a lot of things about the integrated radiology and you can say a patient-centric approach at your organization. So, sir, as you must be seeing that healthcare is a rapidly evolving thing because we are dealing with the human. And nowadays, technology is dominating it. So, how your organization is coping up with the new trends, new innovations, and new technologies to give the best to the patient and make it more patient-centric as well as the first term doctor-centric?
Ritika, over the years, we've always tried to get the best possible technology,
Hmm.
state of the art, and for many things in this country, even though we are a small organization, we've actually been the ones who brought new technology.
Exactly. Yes.
And that is something, I have two jobs. One is that of a professional,
Yeah.
the other is of running these centers
Yes.
as part of the management. And be professional in me
Hmm.
always hankers after new technology, upgrading technology. So, not only do we buy the latest of equipment, but equipment within a few years,
Hmm.
as newer upgrades come, we keep continuously upgrading.
Hmm.
That may be something which a businessman may not like.
Yes. Exactly.
Because there's money to be spent every few years on
Yeah.
upgrades.
Yeah.
But we've kept pace with that. And so our equipment, by and large, would be the latest that anyone can buy. But equally important is the man behind the machine.
Exactly.
Technology is important.
Hmm.
Newer applications are important.
Hmm.
Newer tests are important. And we keep pace with the world.
Yes.
But at the same time, our focus is also that the man behind the machine,
Exactly.
the doctor, the technologist, should also be amongst the best.
Yes.
Because, tools, equipment, technology on its own cannot provide
Yeah.
what the human being behind, the radiologist, the pathologist, the genomic specialist can give you. And so we try to keep a balance
Balance.
of
Exactly.
technology with the skilled workers, skilled doctors, and we also actually are into academics.
Wow.
We have postgraduates in our centers
Hmm.
who postgraduates for radiology, we've
Hmm.
had postgraduates for nuclear medicine, and also we have a division for research.
Wow.
So, this is something which probably is the ideal situation
Hmm.
where in a private setup, we also do a lot of research.
Yes.
And we have a division called Caring, our Center for Advanced Research in Imaging, Neurosciences and Genomics,
Very nice.
where we look at cutting edge research, both translational research as well as pure research is done in our centers along with our collaborators. And here I'll also say, one organization can't do everything.
Yes. What
We cannot boil the ocean. And that's where collaborations come in.
Yeah.
And we collaborate with, institutions in India, we collaborate with institutions outside the country. And that's what keeps us going and keeps us
Ahead in the vision.
not only ahead, but, ultimately, what are we here for
Yes.
as doctors, as healthcare providers? We are here for the patient.
Patient.
And ultimately, all of these will help patients get a better diagnosis, which will translate into better treatment.
Yes. As you said, it was so great that you balance both the things and work in parallelly. Like you focus on the doctor centric thing as well as to the technology. Right now, you mentioned that you don't hold one, you can say, profession. You have two professions. So you must be tackling a lot of challenges. What was the toughest challenges which you tackled and how did you overcome? And is there any, I would say, personal, you can say, catalyst in your this journey?
See, my co-founder is my wife.
Oh, great.
And my wife also takes care of the admin as well as HR.
Wow.
Two of the, I think, most difficult parts of running any organization.
Exactly.
And so,
Totally agree.
without her, probably we would have had one center and not a chain as we have today. And she takes care of, the day-to-day problems that come. She also has been able to build within our organization a family environment.
Very nice.
We are more like a family of 800 people. And that's where, we encourage people who work with us to share even their day-to-day problems at home if we can be of any help.
Yeah.
Not only what problems they may have at work. And so that has been the way we've gone forward. And one of my biggest, I think, challenges that I faced during this 35-year journey is when we had to part directions and relationship with one of our partners with whom we started the journey. Actually, my original partner, who was a friend of my father's, I used to call him uncle, he died suddenly of a heart attack in 1998. And then the rest of his family became partners, and things didn't work out for several reasons, which I won't want to go into. And that parting actually was a very, very tough part of the journey. In 2003, 2004, actually, I was on the road. The 13, 14 years spent building the organization, I actually left it for whatever reason and restarted.
Wow.
And so, when you say against all odds, I think most entrepreneurs have faced ups and downs and
Exactly.
challenges and problems, and yet they have persevered and continued their journey. And this, I think, is something which, if we were to choose a Urdu word, it is called Junoon.
Junoon. Exactly.
So, against all odds and Junoon, I think, go hand in hand.
You truly, you can say, inspire our tagline as well. It is setback to success. So how you rebuild from starting and then heading towards the success of your organization, then moving towards a patient-centric approach, then having a thought of not just giving you can say, help to the masses of India only, but you are thinking to have the help to the masses of international people as well.
Ultimately, maybe. But right now, our focus is totally on the Delhi NCR region and north of India, which is going to be our focus area, because we want to actually not franchise. If we were to franchise, then you can rapidly expand.
Exactly.
But we don't want to do that. And we want to have ownership going forward.
I got.
And so that the owners of the equipment, the technology, the people, the behavior, the empathy, all is what we have in our organization. And so the world, I think, is far.
These are the assets which is leading and you can say succeeding this organization to move forward. My next question would be, sir, see, if you are running an organization, you must be having one thought and giving this great legacy to someone. So what is your mindset to make this organization go ahead? And what do you see, what you will give to the legacy to the people who are in connection with you?
See, we have a brilliant team. And without having a solid team,
Exactly.
there is going to be no progress. You cannot actually expand. You cannot have multiple sectors. And so we are a very professionally run organization. Even though, my wife and I are at the head of it, one of our sons, Deep, he's also part of the organization, and he is, been associated for over 14 years, and he started at the rock bottom.
Wow.
And then we have our, extended family, which is our, presidents, vice presidents, and so on, and a team of fantastic, dedicated, humane radiologists, which is over 70 in number in our organization. We also have cardiologists, we have anesthetists, we have nuclear medicine physicians, We have pathologists, we have microbiologists, genomic specialists, all forming one team. And really, it is this team which is going to take us forward.
Exactly.
I mean, just I alone or our family alone can achieve only that much and not more. And so we look at this, our entire organization as one large family where, we had the privilege of being the founders, starting it at a time when diagnostics in India was lagging way behind
Exactly.
our Western counterparts. And today I can say when I look around and see the progress that the healthcare industry has made in this country,
Exactly. Yeah.
I think we are second to none. We are a home for medical tourism,
Yeah.
medical value travel. People from not only the south countries, but also from the north, the developed parts of the world come here to get their diagnosis and treatment. And that, I think, is a tribute to both the resilience and the vision
Yeah.
of our leaders in the political spectrum, our administrators who have taken charge and led us, and of doctors, healthcare personnel, nurses, technologists, those at the leaders of the healthcare fraternity, the MBAs, each and every person has played a role in transforming
Exactly.
healthcare in this country. And now what we need to provide is access of quality healthcare to our tier 2, 3, 4 and the rural areas.
Yes.
And that's where I think the next 20 years of, the person right at the end of the line.
Exactly.
How can we bring high quality healthcare, which the rich get today, to that person is where, at least I would want to be. And here I would say the government of India,
Yes.
through its policies, through its directives, through the Ayushman Bharat Arogya Yojana, which takes care of the lowest socio-economic strata people in this country, nearly 55 crores, and now extended to all those above 70 years of age, irrespective of their economic status. Inpatient healthcare. I know there is a struggle in the beginning years, and it'll take time for it to become refined and become excellent. But the journey started 7 years ago.
Yes.
And also, the government is looking at preventive and primary care through its Ayushman Arogya Mandirs.
Yes.
1.7 lakh across the length and breadth of the country. Because remember, we were taught in school that prevention is better than cure. That is so true. Also remember, prevention is much cheaper than cure. And with a population of 1.4 billion, it would be very difficult for the government or even the private sector to cure all who fall sick. Even we don't have enough doctors, we don't have enough nurses, we don't have enough skilled technicians, we don't have enough hospitals. And it'll take decades for us to achieve that. So the focus of the healthcare industry, the focus of the government on preventive health, on wellness, I think is a step in the right direction, if we are able to actually prevent any serious illness, and non-communicable diseases have become a huge burden. We are the world's center for diabetes, for heart disease, for cancer, for strokes. So if we can prevent to whatever extent possible through early diagnosis, we will then be able to tackle the huge demand for healthcare, for treatment that exists in our country.
Very well said, sir. And you can say In just 2 to 5 minutes, you have just summed up all the challenges which we are having along with the solutions.
Also, let me add here, Ritika,
Hmm.
as you say this, the government has also thought of how to take healthcare to the rural masses.
Exactly. Yes.
There are very few doctors who go there, very few nurses, even our primary health centers are not very well.
Well equipped.
So the government has thought of the National Digital Health Mission,
Yes.
where it is through digital health that we will be able to approach the masses through telemedicine.
Yes.
We're able to reach every nook and corner of our country, rural areas. People have a cell phone. And through that, we can provide not only healthcare, education, preventive strategies, all of those can be done. It will take a lot of doing, but at least the government has the vision. They have thought of this. And I hope in the next 5 to 7 years, there would be a leapfrogging, just as what happened. If you remember, maybe you don't, you're very young, but it used to take 10 to 15 years to get a landline.
Yes.
Whereas now everyone carries a cell phone.
Yeah.
They are able to leapfrog. Similarly, we hope we will be able to leapfrog in the healthcare through digitization.
Yes, very well said, sir. And I got so humble, like what kind of insights I got you from the person who is on ground and looking towards the government initiative personally is very insightful. Apart from this, when you said, sir, it has started. So the best thing of anything that can be possible is it should be started. If it has taken a leap, then it will definitely go towards the vision it has.
Certainly, it will be a slow process.
Exactly.
Digitization is not easy.
No, not at all.
It costs a lot of money. How can our small nursing homes, how can our clinics get digitized so that a patient who visits Delhi next goes to, some small town, there falls sick? How can his data be available there? How can his CT scan or X-ray or pathology reports be available to the doctor there? That is the vision.
That's a
Data transportability, and actually be able to collect digital data, which again can help us in building strategies for tackling our own problems. Remember, our healthcare problems in India will be solved by Indian solutions
Exactly.
and not by foreign solutions.
Yes.
And so we need to build that. We have a huge startup culture in this country, and you'll be surprised, after IT, it is healthcare, which is the next largest startup ecosystem. And youngsters, 1, 2, 3, sitting in the IITs, engineering colleges, in medical colleges,
Exactly.
they are building this in the private sector, in the government sector. I think we need to bring everyone together. And if we could actually have these data lakes,
Yes.
which we can rely on, then, the sky's the limit.
Sky's
We
the
could
limit.
become like the government again has this initiative of heal in India and heal by India.
Exactly.
We could become, the exporters of technology, of nurses, of doctors to every nook and corner of the world.
Shri Amit Agarwal, who is the Secretary in Government of India, he also said that now world is looking at India as a leadership, not as a consumer. So the
Right.
things which you said is just the alignment of what he said. And I am very much agree with the thing which you said, that we are becoming the hub and the ecosystem of startups. Nowadays, a small child who is just in his academics are inventing the best medical equipment for the masses of our India.
See, I'm also involved with certain schools, and we have the Atal Tinkering Labs.
Okay.
Every school in the country, and these young, youngsters in 6th, 7th, 8th are building newer innovations, thinking,
Yeah.
and so that when they become slightly older,
Yeah.
they will be able to build systems
Out of the box.
We should be totally out of the box, like you said, and their mindset will be such that they will be open to try new.
Definitely, yes, sir. What we have to do, we have a great minds of 1.4 billion people. It just have to take the minds of these people and integrate it with the technologies which is coming up and give the best. And like you said, heal in India, heal by India. And we have to work towards it only. Towards the ending, I just want to know one personal question from you. As you have received Padma Shri, nation's highest civilian award. So how did you feel while getting this award? What was your inner intention while having this, and what your family, friends, you can say congratulated and had the words with you?
Actually, everyone felt very, very good. I felt very good. This was in 2002, so it's nearly 23 years ago.
Yes.
And frankly, I would say it was not so much an award for me personally, but an award for radiology and imaging
Yes.
as a specialty of medicine. This showed that if a radiologist is being honored thus, it is actually an honor for our specialty,
Exactly.
which from the era of X-ray had come into its own in the 90s, 1990s, where now we had all the latest technology.
All the latest.
So, and to those who worked with me, I think it galvanized everyone. And to youngsters at large who wanted to take up radiology,
Yes.
I think it also encouraged them.
Yes.
So I would say this Padma Shri award given by the government of India was more a recognition for the arrival of radiology and imaging on the Indian landscape
Yes.
of medicine rather than an award for what I'd done.
Exactly. And I think awards come with responsibility and to make it sustained. When you get an award, it means people and the nation is looking towards you for the betterment and to bring the best in the country.
That's, I think, very, very, very right, very well put. And frankly, it did galvanize
Exactly.
the radiology ecosystem to do better and better. And so many newer startups, newer centers actually came up in the 2000s. And now, in every part of the country, you have high quality radiology and imaging centers, pathology centers, integrated centers coming up.
So, what advice, suggestion would you like to give to the next gen radiologists? Just sum up it in a line.
I would say that there is no replacement for hard work.
Yeah.
You have to work hard. You have to be available 24 hours. And, I generally talk about the ABC of practice. It may even be the ABC of life. A is availability. You may be the best doctor. You may be the best radiologist. But when the patient needs you, you're not there.
Yeah.
Then you're of no use to the patient.
Exactly.
So availability. B is for behavior. Be empathetic. Have a human approach. Be kind. And C is for competence. And you have to be also very competent in your field. So A, B, C of practice of medicine. And in the end, I'd like to quote Urdu couplet, which actually sums up. And again, somehow it goes very well with what your tagline is, against all odds,
Yes.
which is, मंजिलें उन्हीं को मिलती हैं, मंजिलें उन्हीं को मिलती हैं, जिनके सपनों में जान होती है, पंख से कुछ नहीं होता, हौसलों से उड़ान होती है, against all odds.
Very well said, sir. It just has boosted myself as well and the entire team who is inside it. So, sir, your story is proof that true leadership is all about resilience, vision, and building a legacy that outlives yourselves and you. And this is what Against All Odds is all about. Celebrating those odds who don't just chase the success but lead the setback, and the success toward the vision. Thank you so much, sir, for coming up here. And we are looking forward. And thank you, viewers, for joining us against all the odds. Until next time, please stay tuned and keep leading the setback towards the success.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure and an honor.
Just